biggest thing is just, taking the challenge, as a whole. I mean, yeah, Evan's been out, Isaac's been out, Karras is out. I could easily point to that. But I think for us, we have guys who are capable, and I think for us, it's just a mentality. You saw what we did in the second half of this game. If we put that energy into it's not an energy thing. I think it's just like a setting the tone. I feel like sometimes, you have success, and sometimes you kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit. I think little things, whether it's on the ball, protecting the rim, rotations, and this is part of the season. It happens. You know what I mean? So now it's been about 9-10 games where this has happened. So now we just got to figure out a way to get back to it. Nothing to freak out about, but something to address and handle. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we got to do. We got to be better defensively.
And then whether it's game to game, even half to half, as you mentioned tonight, it's been inconsistent. Why is that?
Like I said, it's a mentality. It's there. We saw it. You know what I mean? So just the mentality coming in every night, and understanding that when Evan's out, we have smaller. We got to box out rebound. We got to rotate earlier. When Evan's back, we still the same mindset. When Karras comes back, it's the same thing. Isaac, same thing. We always got to be better on the ball, better in rotations, better in our spots, and then better on the boards.
Kenny described it as they've been invading your paint in the last few games. Playing on-ball defense, the key to being more disciplined on that, like what is that?
Well, it's one of those things where you just got to understand you got to keep your man in front. And, the zone has been great for us, but we still got to be able to play man. We still, not to say we haven't, but we still got to be able to go out there. Bye, JT. Still got to be able to go out there and do it. And it's a collective. It's 2 or 3 guys will do it right, and then one guy messes up, and now it's all of us. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not just one individual, one group, one thing. It's just like we got to all be conscious of what's going on around us, being in the right spots, and also helping the guy on the ball, shrinking our spots so they don't see so they see a crowd. Like I said, you look at the second half tonight, it really was the epitome of what I'm talking about. We were able to do it for, felt like ages, but like 12 minutes, 12, 13 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, that was the effort, that's the energy, that's who we've been all season, and we just got to get back to that.
You're racing a 15-plus point deficit in a game is difficult. You guys were able to do it twice and a half, but just how much of the final maybe 2.5, 3 minutes was a result of a little running out of gas because you expended so much energy trying to get back in?
When you fight uphill, it's definitely tough. You're in the back-to-back, that's tough, but you got to be able to find a way. We were there. I missed a free throw, missed open shots. We didn't get a rebound. We were there. So yeah, we could say we're tired, exhausted, whatever, but we were right there. We should have won this game, regardless of we should have won the past 2, but it happens. The sky's not falling. We're fine, but we got to just be better.
I've been using the term wake-up call this week that you guys have had. I know you guys would rather learn from a win, but how can a loss maybe drive the lesson home a little?
Yeah, I think you look at the past 3 we've lost by a combined 7-8 points. You could look at it down the road, you'd be like, no, we got to be better. And I'm glad he said that, because for us, it's like, we've had a lot of success. And not to say we're complacent, but, with that, we haven't really had much adversity, so this is good to have. I'd rather, I said this after DG missed those free throws, like, I'd rather it now than in April, in June, and you know what I mean? Like, so you figure out how to dig yourself out of these holes, how to gut these wins out, and figure it out on a daily basis. And like I said, we're not overreacting, but we're reacting. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing is understanding we have to find a way to be better. But at the end of the day, too, like, it's a long season. It's tough to win every night. But for us, we got to continue to be a team we want to be every night. We have to hold ourselves accountable. And, for Ed to say that's huge, and we all feel that way. We just got to be ready on a night-to-night basis.
You had the first 8 points of the game, and then you were clearly frustrated with yourself for the latter half of the first half. What clicked for you in the second half for you to be able to get it going, and what did you see?
I think you let fatigue win. That was kind of what happened to me for about 2.5 quarters. And then at some point, you just like, all right, this isn't, how it's going to go. You know what I mean? And I think for myself, when you and everybody feels this way on the team, but, when it comes to myself, try to set the tone early. Obviously, like I said, you're tired, you're gassed, whatever. But then you got to find a way. Shot wasn't falling. I got good looks. So then it was like, all right, I'm just going to start picking up full and see where it goes from there. And we did a lot of positive things after that. But, sometimes, like I said, it's tough. I've been playing 30 minutes a night, so now I'm trying to get back into that shape. We're we're trying to get into 35, 36 minutes on a night-to-night basis and be ready, and that's the challenge on a night-to-night basis. And, I let it win for a quarter, and then we fight back. But that's part of it, and like I said, it's nothing to overreact to. Just continue to fight these challenges, and we'll be fine. I'll be fine, and that's pretty much the mindset.
You played the whole fourth quarter. Why was today so important for you to do that?
I think for me, I kind of told Kenny at the end of I typically come out early in the third, and I was kind of like, no, give it a shot, let us keep going. And you lose. Elite teams don't lose 2 in a row, and then you damn sure don't lose 3. And obviously we did, but that's the mindset. Just find a way to win. And we have a day off tomorrow. It doesn't matter how tired you are. So that was kind of the mindset. Look, just leave it all out there. It may not look the prettiest always, but just like I said, my mentality is like, look, I'm gonna pick up full, try to disrupt shit. Try to disrupt stuff, and figure it out from there. And like I said, it's not always gonna be perfect. I've said that it's not always fourth quarters and stuff aren't always gonna go in our favor. But the biggest thing is we all responded. That's what I'm most proud about. In those late game situations. So, yeah.
Kenny talked a lot about the leadership. How does that leadership take shape, maybe behind the scenes? Like, is it you guys picking each other up vocally? What don't we see?
I think that's a big part of it. I think understanding, like I said, it's not an overreaction; it's a reaction. I think that's one thing in this locker room. Understanding, we're not doing a lot of we didn't do a lot of things quite defensively the past few weeks, but also understand holding each other accountable, but also understanding hey, how do we respond? How do we figure things out? And then for me, we hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? And whether it's myself, it's DG, it's Dean, it's Ev, whoever. In those moments, and sometimes it's a pat on the back. It just depends on the individual, depends on what we got. But I've said it to you guys. This stretch was bound to happen at some point. You're going to go through these stretches, and my biggest challenge, like I always say, is just how to respond. And we've lost 3 in a row. We got to figure out a way to respond. And maybe 4 in a row, how to respond. We may win. How do we respond to winning that? Just continually having those challenges in the locker room. And we've responded for the most part of the year. And this is just another thing of adversity. And for me, as a leader, just being like, look, this is just a challenge. How do we continue to get better?
Defense has been the identity of this team up until this season. You talked about how you were playing full and getting into those different actions. Do you feel like that is something that you can translate not only for yourself, for this team, to translate defense to offense and getting into those actions?
I think it's like I told you. I think leadership, especially for me this year, it's different. I've said to y'all, it's not always gonna be 30. Maybe it's how do you impact the game? I look at Max Strus, in Philly, can't really make a shot up to his standards. But he's there diving on the floor, getting loose balls. Like, how do you impact winning? You know what I mean? And for me tonight, it was picking up full. For Max that night, it was, being able to get in there with boards. For George, it was knocking down those big threes when we needed it. For TT, it was coming in for 5 minutes. For DG, it was carrying us throughout the night, scoring-wise. How do we impact, winning? So I think that's kind of the mindset for each individual. Like I said, tonight it was picking up full, and the defense is always going to be the standard. Yeah, you want the